All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call to order the Regional Governance Board of the Southwest Vermont Regional Technical School District for our Monday, June 20th, 2016 regular scheduled meeting. I want to welcome everybody this evening that showed up. I appreciate you coming out. We're also welcoming summer tonight. It arrived about 20 minutes ago. I have a change to the agenda that I've been notified of, so I'm going to mention that right up front. Under action items, there will be no action on the copier lease that has not been prepared yet, and there are no nominations for this evening's meeting, as we thought there might be. Okay, so we'll begin the meeting with public comments, as we always do. Are there any public comments? First public. Yeah. Okay, seeing none, then we'll go on with the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes of the full board meeting for May 16th, 2016?
Second.
Moved by Francis and seconded by Ricky. Any questions on the minutes of the meeting? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you, Barb, for doing a nice job on those. Payroll warrants number 24, 1041, 1042, 26, 1044, 1045. And motion moved by Ricky and seconded by Francis. Any questions on the payroll warrants? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting those as presented, please signify by raising your hand. That's unanimous as well. Vendor warrants 1043, 1046. Motion on those, please.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ricky and seconded by Francis. Any questions on any of the vendor items listed? Quick evening. Seeing none, we'll entertain a vote on that. Then all those in favor of accepting the vendor warrants as presented, please signify by raising your hand. And that is unanimous. Cash flow. We do have Heidi.
Well.
Heidi has joined us on the internet. The cash flow statements, revenue, expenses. Any reports on those at all, or any questions or concerns? Look up to speed there to me, anyways. All right, committee reports. I don't think we had any committee meetings this month. No. We did not, so we have no committee reports. We'll go right on to action items then. The first item is the approval of the business manager position. The business manager position was budgeted back in November to be changed from a 0.60 position to a 1.0 position, full-time position, with salary adjusted accordingly. Can I have a motion for the approval of the business manager to a full-time position?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Francis, seconded by Ricky. Discussion. All right, seeing none.
We always knew that
Go ahead, Ed.
half-time person in that position wasn't gonna carry the load that we had, so. Some of us always knew that was gonna be a problem.
Okay.
So, this is a correction
Yes. And
to the former plan.
she has also taken on some additional responsibilities with being also the personnel manager and all the tasks associated with those items as well. So Stephanie has plenty to do. There's no doubt about that. She's here full-time, starting July 1st. Welcome. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand.
Can you repeat what it is?
It is the first item on the action agenda, which is the approval of the business manager position. Are you with us?
Okay.
Okay. And are you in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Thank you. And that's unanimous. As I said earlier, there is no copier lease, so we'll go on to the computer purchases that are in the works. Mike, can you give us a rundown on that?
Yes, you see three quotes in the action items. 4 computer replacements for 2 of our labs, and we are recommending that we go with the lowest bidder on those. I'm just pulling that up here. Which would be to PCM Tiger Direct for $18,662.40. That is for 30 desktops and 2 laptops. That will, and 1 printer. That will replace 2 labs in our building. We have close to 20 labs in our building, and we're trying to do a continual effort to keep them upgraded and modern. These are budgeted funds through our local budget. So that's the recommendation for the computer purchases.
All right,
I'd like to make a move that we accept that.
Quote. Moved by Ricky.
Second.
Seconded by John. That time I heard him first. To give you a quick rundown, then it is a bid process. It went to bid, and the lowest bid is this Tiger Direct that is being recommended at $18,662.
And that is a vendor we've used, so it's not.
Someone you're familiar
Yes.
with? Okay. Any questions or any concerns, any comments? All those in favor then of purchasing these computers through Tiger Direct, please signify by raising your hand.
I'm raising my hand.
Thank you, Heidi. It's unanimous.
We can't see it.
I can't see you either. It's a little frustrating.
You can hear us well, though, I hope.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, thank you. Building trades truck. We have also a bid out there for a new truck for the buildings trade program.
Yes, building trades, Brian Kuhn has been using his personal truck to make deliveries of sheds and use that for traveling to work sites and whatnot. And with the program growing, even if it wasn't growing, we need a vehicle for the program to carry the tools and the equipment that we currently don't have. And so Tom Haskins, our auto instructor, and also takes care of our maintenance for us, went down to Upstate Auto Sales down in Hoosick Falls, where we purchased several vehicles in the past. Has taken a look at a truck down there, which is a 2010 GMC pickup that he's driven, feels confident in it. It's going to suit the needs of building trades for years to come. It does not put a bid because it was under $15,000. You see the quoted price there, $13,945 to Upstate Auto Sales.
Do I have a motion to accept this?
So moved.
Second.
Bill of sale? Okay, it's moved by Ricky and seconded by Francis. Discussion.
I've been over to Lake Perrin while they were working there, and yes, Brian has been filling up his own truck with materials, tools, supplies, and I thought it was, I didn't ask him about it, but I thought it was wrong that he had to use his own vehicle for that, so I'm in favor of this.
Have we been compensating him at all?
No, no,
We haven't been paying him even any mileage?
no.
Back and
Nothing's
forth?
been
Hasn't
submitted.
submitted for
Nothing's
it.
been submitted.
Nothing's been submitted, but he's eligible to do that.
Yep.
Any other questions or concerns, comments on this truck? It's certainly well needed, and with the expansion of the program, I'm sure it's going to get plenty of use. All those then in favor of purchasing this vehicle as quoted, please signify by raising your hand. How do you go on that, Heidi?
I'm raising my hand.
Okay, good. That's unanimous, Barbara. I don't know what the bank resolution is. You'll have to give us a rundown on that.
The bank resolution is, we opened another account at People's for the scholarship, the IDEA Scholarship Fund.
Okay.
You just need to authorize our treasurer, Ellen Strohmeyer, to open the account. Essentially, I need a signature from a chair, the board chair. The cover letter is in the Dropbox, but I have the actual authorization form here.
Is this that scholarship for the summer
Yes,
programs?
yeah.
Summer camp
Yeah.
program, that's right.
Yeah, super.
Yeah, we need to keep that into a separate account and keep track of it as we do all our scholarships.
I assume you're going to sign it?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Yep. Can we have a motion then to accept that?
So moved.
that
Second.
New fund being established. Moved by Fran, and seconded by Ricky. Any concerns or questions or comments on that?
Would it make any sense to have one account for all the various scholarship
It has,
monies? Or
the
does-
treasurer
do they
and I
have to be
have
separate?
started that discussion. We want to make sure that's legally and statutorily, we can put those in the same, commingle those funds as long as we are accounting for them within our own software as separate funds. But at the moment, we're leaving them as separate bank accounts.
What's the advantage or disadvantage to separate funds? Or checking account, savings account?
I think the thinking on the separate funds is that to keep them separate, but with the fund accounting systems as they are now, they're accounted for in specific funds, such as for example, how we account for different grants and things
Right,
like that. So
sure.
the interest and things like that would have to be allocated by the specific fund that was all commingled into one bank account. So it's just something that we've discussed. I want to make sure that we have the ability or the authority to do that before we actually go through and put them together in one bank
I
account.
guess I step back again and say, I'll be more exact. What's the advantage?
I think
personally
I guess
would rather have mine all in separate accounts.
Oh,
I
separate. So
can
the
see 'em
only
all.
advantage would be, well, one of the advantage would be just the time that it takes the
Reconcile.
treasurer to deal with and the additional reconciliations of each. But
Okay.
that at this moment, given that we really issue checks out of the scholarships annually, is fairly minimal. It's not like that we're dealing with multiple reconciliations of the banks. It doesn't take long to do. So that's
Right.
why at the moment, I'd rather just leave them separate until I'm sure that we can do it.
Any other comments? All those in favor then of this bank account, please signify by raising your hand. And Heidi, your hand is
Yes,
raised?
I'm raising my hand.
Good, I had a feeling it was, thank you. All right. Turn it back up here. Superintendent's report.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out on the first day of summer in the nice hot weather. I have a few things for you tonight, some data to talk about quickly about some of our performance data from the state. But I'd like to start off with our awards banquet, which was held on May 31st at the Bennington Elks Lodge. And I want to thank those who were able to attend. And I want to publicly recognize the students that were granted awards and scholarships on May 31st. So these are our outstanding students. For special recognition awards, Alan Bernard from Accounting and Finance, Candace Marsh from Cosmetology, and Brooke Thoreau from Medical Professions. For technical excellence awards, Amara Armstrong, Human Services, Nicholas Armstrong, Medical Professions, Jeremy Bouteau, Video Production, Nicholas Coyne, Forestry, Robert Dross, Marketing, Sebastian Durfee, Video Production, Shay Francis, Theater Arts, Sarah Henderson, Cosmetology, Fletcher Loomis, Forestry, and Joshua Pierce, Forestry. New members who were inducted into the National Technical Honor Society were Tiffany Bacon, Michaela Bentley, Sophie Bellina, Joshua Kamali, Benjamin Doucette, Catherine Doucette, Marissa Fowler, Taylor Hayes, Megan Held, Joshua Pierce, Dylan Ross, and Gretchen Sawsville. So congratulations to all the students for their excellent efforts and awards. The next piece that I'd like to talk about is career and tech education in Vermont. This is in the Dropbox, but I want to pass it out for you to have a hard look at. This was put together by the Directors Association and the Agency of Education to talk about the career centers in Vermont and who we're serving. So this is a quick snapshot of the 17 regional career centers. In 2014 and 15, over 5,400 students were served statewide in 14 different career clusters. During the 14-15 school year, 96% of students who participated in the career and technical education program went on to graduate from high school. Those rates are above the impressive national average of 93%. I'm not going to read the entire thing to you here, but during the 14-15 school year, over 2,000 students were placed in work-based learning. Over 2,500 students received dual enrollment credits or college credits through their career and technical program. And over 3,300 students received industry-recognized credentials or portable credentials that they can take with them to the workplace. So these are numbers by the state. I think that's pretty impressive. I'm going to look at some data this evening from our center as well, but this is sort of a Vermont campaign, Career and Tech Ed in Vermont. This will be published on a full page and used to promote CTE in the state of Vermont. But I wanted you to see it here first. It was just released, I think, a week and a half ago or so. So, questions about that? Comments?
Mike, I'm wondering if you could email that to me at some point.
Certainly.
Perfect, thank you.
I would like to see, without seeing the whole report, I don't know, have any idea of what's in it, but I would like to see a write-up of what the requirements are for comprehensive high schools to educate, to send students or make them aware of what is available for CTE. Because I'm not sure every guidance counselor across the state is aware of the requirements written into law.
For accessing career and technical education.
Right.
Yeah, there is statute as well as Tech Ed Reg that entitles students to career and technical education, as well as graduation requirements being altered to allow students to attend career and technical centers. That is in legislation and in career and Tech Ed regs, but I can get you more specific information on that.
Yeah, and part of my thinking exists because Act 77 is controlling how high schools are going to operate in the future. And because of that, I'm not convinced at this point that students are going to be aware of the fact that they can fit CDC programs into their schedule or technical center programs.
I think the thing you need to point at there in response, Ed, is this figure of over 2,500 students have received dual enrollment college credit from taking a course in a technical center. That's an impressive number.
It is.
That over half the students served are taking advantage of the dual enrollment college credit. And I think they actually get additional college credit, don't they, through CT than they would
Yes,
from their high school?
The way it's currently structured is it's an additional college course through the Fast Forward program for enrolling in a career and technical center program that has an articulation agreement with another college.
So that's a credit, that's 3 college credits for them at no expense to the
Correct.
to the parents or
Yeah.
to the students,
Right.
in addition to what they can get from their high school. So that's a big advantage.
There is a huge advantage with that, as it's currently structured for students who attend career and tech centers in the state.
Yeah.
You know, accessing another college course at no additional cost to them or the families,
All right.
which is nice. That may change in the future. That's the way it is currently still structured.
Hey, Mike,
Yes.
so 17 regional centers, 5,400 students, 14 career clusters.
Yes.
What is that?
Career clusters is a model that the state adopted many years ago, and they kind of went away from it and came back to it. So I'll give you an example of what a career cluster in our center might be. So the law, public safety, and security career cluster. For us, that involves our law enforcement program, our forensics class, our pre-law program. So natural resources might include forestry, and the different career pathways is what it would be. So, does that answer your question, Rick?
Maybe.
Okay.
So that tells me that not every career center, or every center has a cluster.
Correct.
Maybe some have more. but
Right, some have,
not
I mean, the program offerings are similar across the state, but they're certainly not exactly in every
every.
center.
We got 17 centers and only 14 clusters. It tells me there's probably at least 3 that don't have them.
Right. In our counselor's office, and I can share with you, if you go to careerclusters.org, it talks about the different career clusters that are available to students. It's basically different career pathways that spin off of that. So for example, in law enforcement, we're not just preparing students to be a uniformed police officer, they're corrections and probation and parole and court officers, and, every career pathway that's available, and the same for auto mechanic. We aren't just dealing in auto mechanic, we could be preparing folks for diesel, service write-ups, and all sorts of different careers within the pathways.
How many clusters do we have?
I would have to look that up. I don't have it off the top of my head. We certainly don't offer every cluster. Right now, one cluster we don't offer would be the computer networking and repair. That's the IT cluster. We don't have that currently for next year. So that'd be an example of one we don't have. But
Well, I'm saying with only 14, it sounds like it's pretty elite. It doesn't sound like, every center has these clusters.
every center has them, but just not as many. Some centers are bigger than others, and some are smaller. And so, but I can get you the information, Ricky, of how many clusters we have here
Okay, cool.
at the CDC.
One thing that I discovered talking with the building trade students a week ago was I asked them if they would take more than one CDC program if they had time, and they all said yes, and I didn't get a good explanation as to why they couldn't take more than one program, but there's certainly an interest in that. And as this unfolds, maybe the directors can focus a little bit on that particular issue.
I certainly think it has to do with time of the day, the number of hours
Yeah,
of the day.
Time of day, scheduling.
Yeah, scheduling, the requirements they have to get in on the academic side and meet each year. It makes it tough.
To answer Ricky's question a little more thoroughly, there are 17 career clusters that the state of Vermont recognizes, and they are the following: agriculture, food and natural resources, architecture and construction, arts, AV and communications, business management, education, finance, government and public administration, health science, hospitality and tourism, human services, information technology, law, public safety, corrections and security, manufacturing, marketing, science, technology, engineering, and math, we know as STEM, transportation, logistics, and green and sustainable skill statements. So those are the different clusters that are available and that Vermont recognizes. And you can kind of drill down from there, but it is careertech.org. I gave you the wrong website. And it lists all the clusters.
Thanks.
Certainly an advantage to have those. It gives
Absolutely.
broader opportunities for the students to be involved in the careers, the whole path of the career.
You want to tell Heidi that this is in her Dropbox?
Yes, Heidi, do you have access to your Dropbox?
Yeah, I can go get it.
The the career and tech ed
Second
cut
one
sheet
down.
is in there, but I can email it to you as well.
Thank you.
The next piece I want to talk about, this is also in your Dropbox, but I did print a hard copy for folks that may want to see it a little easier. This data was just released about a week and a half or so ago by the Agency of Education for all the career and tech centers in the state, but I peeled out just our center. If you look in the Dropbox, you can compare us to every other center in the state with percentages. And what this is the 5-year, it's called Focal Performance Standard, which stands for the federally agreed upon performance levels for students. And they're categorized in different sections. Now, page 1 has us, we'll start with 1S1, which is reading in our program areas. You can see the statewide target in blue, the state actual, and where our school is in green. This data goes back from 2010 forward. So you can see right now we are above the state target and the state actual for reading within our programs and content area. You can see there's times that we weren't, but we have made progress with reading. The statewide math, the one next to it, statewide target, is 28% proficient. You can see that we are just slightly below the statewide actual and target for our math scores. We've talked about that before. That is nothing, that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. We've talked about the deficiency in math skills in our programs, and we're seeking to address that. The state, we started last year by sending a math teacher from Mount Anthony, Tim Kane, with our building trades instructor, Brian Kuhn, to a math and CTE course, not a one-day workshop, a full year course at Castleton State College, sponsored by the state, to learn how to co-teach math, as an example. They're teaching the same set of standards and the same formulas, just in different ways. And so that was a very successful venture. We're going to continue to look to improve academic support for our center, perhaps with some grant funding coming up this year. 2S1 technical skill attainment. You can see this year we're almost on par with that. Event graduation. I had to write down some notes when I spoke with the state today because they've recategorized what they call these. 3S1 event concentration. Those are 12th grade students who've completed school. It does not necessarily mean in a 4-year time span. It's that they've completed a career and tech program and graduated from high school. So we are right on target with that, right with the statewide average. 4S1 cohort graduation. Those would be students who completed high school with their original group of peers that started in 9th grade. So the traditional four-year route to graduation. You can see in 14 we actually really exceeded that, and in 15 we're on average with the state target and the statewide actual. 5S1 placement. Those are students who are placed either in post-secondary, employed, or in the military. They are combined together. So students that are doing something beyond high school, not just being home. So post-secondary, employed, or in the military. You can see our numbers there. We're actually quite a bit above state target and statewide actual for our center. You can see some of these have varied back and forth through the years. It depends on our number of students we have. It can skew the data pretty quickly, based on the enrollment. So, these are relative. 6S1 is non-traditional participation in our programs. You can see we have been better at it, but we are flat right now with the statewide target and actual. Those would be non-traditional students taking our program. So an example might be a female student taking forestry, for example, or automotive, a male student taking cosmetology. We have gender neutral programs that they consider, like medical professions, considered gender neutral. It does not have a gender assigned to it. But the state tracked non-traditional participation in our programs, and they encourage non-trad participation. The next category that they rank us at is 6S2, which is non-trad completion. So not only students, non-traditional students that enrolled in a class or a program, but who actually finished the programs. As we all know here, that can take anywhere between 2 and 3 years. And you can see again, we have come a long way with that. From 2010 to 2015, we are slightly above the statewide actual on non-traditional completion. And that goes to the credit of our instructors and the welcoming environment here at the CDC in part. These are the areas that have been reported to us. There are other indicators, but these are the ones the state is looking at this year, part of our continued improvement plan and performance levels. Questions about these categories that I can try to answer for you?
When a table says 50%, that means 50% of the students enrolled in programs, for example, under reading.
Okay.
It's showing the statewide target is about 58%, according to this table.
Right.
Does that mean 58% of the kids statewide that are in technical centers?
That would be 15, correct, that are enrolled in career and technical programs would be proficient in reading standards. That's the state target or actual.
We're over 70% on that.
We've improved reading and a little bit of math, but you can see math has a long ways to go, not just here, but statewide. That's certainly a very deficient skill across the board. If you look here at the dates, 2013 to me stands out as kind of a blip with a lot of these. We're kind of really down in 2013. I don't have the data for you today of why that is. I mean, if you're curious about that, I can look into it, but it could simply be enrollment.
something.
state has changed requirements for reading and math and technical skill. I
It could
mean,
be a different test standard, et
Right.
cetera, but it
Right.
dips every.
Almost every 13,
chart
yeah.
in 2012 to 13.
But what's
Something skewed.
troubling, really, really troubling, is that we're below 30% in math.
Math proficiency.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just blowing my mind away. And what really bothers me is the statewide target is below 30%.
Yeah. That,
I mean, I'm wondering how they set their targets, because quite frankly, if I were setting the target, it'd be closer to 100%, not 20.
Yeah, you would, that's right, you would,
I don't
you
know,
would
understand
think
it.
it should be that way, but it's realistic. It's what-
realistic numbers.
It's a realistic number, to say, you would like to see it 100%. Can you achieve that in a year's time? No, probably not. Therefore, they're going to set their target above what's realistic. At
And
least
you're
they have it above.
And you're going to see some of this data change with, a lot of these were reported out as kneecap scores with the new SBAC testing. It's a different set of standards. We could see a significant drop. We may see a significant rise. I don't really know what that's going to look like. I mean, this data is consistent. This was all kneecap scores. But for us, kneecaps were already over by the time we had students, or they were taking them at the end of their junior year, their first year with us. So, what kind of impact do we have in 2 hours a day for 1 year? Sometimes it's hard to measure what that is.
Michael, statistics are statistics, and without the numbers, if we took 4 kids and said, okay, we're going to test your math skill, and one kid was like, fell asleep during the test, and then we took another school where there was 25 kids and only one kid fell asleep. You see, it would.
It looks much greater.
So without the numbers, you can't, I would ask them for numbers. And then I looked on the next, I'm sure your next presentation, we beat Burlington 7 out of 8 times. Each one of the schools are listed separately.
Yeah, I don't have that printed out because it's a lengthy document, but it is in your Dropbox. That is the statewide, all the technical centers in the state, with what the statewide target is. I highlighted our center, but you can see where we compare to other technical centers. It is an 8-page document, but it is in your Dropbox and available to you.
But whoever Northwest Technical Center is, they're beating everybody.
And again, it depends on what the data they're using to generate those
Right,
percentages.
and
Yeah.
how many people?
Right. It's a very good point.
They have 100%,
Stafford does.
and about 6 of them.
And again, it could be a much smaller population, as you indicated, 4 students and 2 passed and 2 didn't, or all 4 passed.
And without all the numbers, you can't tell what it really means.
But I think it does give us a good snapshot, at least, of where we're at in comparison to other schools in the state. And this is data we have to use to help write our Perkins plan and our improvement plans for the center and how we can use the money, basically, that's allotted to us. And a lot of that is going to be through increased academic support, academic mentoring, tutoring, et cetera. Whether that be through a licensed math teacher, a licensed English teacher, et cetera. And like I said earlier, we're hoping for some grant funding for that to assist us with perhaps another instructor or an academic support person to help boost these scores across the board, not just reading or not just math, but to help our students. So the last thing that I have on my report for this evening, if there's no more questions on the data, is an update on our summer camps. This is our first year doing summer camps. And 2 are still open. We've had to postpone and cancel 2 due to lack of registrations. That's okay. I don't look at this as a failure at all. It's the first time we've done this. We still have 2 sessions available, July 18th to July 21st, which is game programming using HTML and JavaScript with Doug Paddock, and our Building Wild experience with David Dents and Brian Kuhn. That's the week-long Building Wild experience with an overnight on August 4th. those are still available. You can sign up on our website. There's a document there that will link you. Scholarships are also available, but there are deadlines to register for these. For the game programming, it is July 10th, and for Building Wild Experience, it's July 20th. They're approximately 10 days before the courses start. Those are still available, and they've been advertised in the banner. They're on our Facebook page, they're on our website, they've been sent to all the local media, as well as we mailed all this stuff to all the schools in our region earlier this year. So we'll continue to plug away at that. And hopefully we have enrollment for the 2 other sessions.
Good job on that, Mike. I saw the ad in the paper, and it was identical to the flyer that we put out, so I think the community is well aware of it. There's no doubt about that. You know. And like I say, it's our first year.
It's our first
so
year at it, so.
We're going to learn how to do it better every year.
And it'll also get the word out there that we're offering summer camps.
That's
You know,
right.
People may not be aware of it or have planned for it, and just like our programs, as they become more known, it'll be expected that we're running summer programming, and you know, it'll be available for us. So I think I would like to see at least one of them run this summer. You know, either one would be fine, or both. So we'll see.
And there's also the Bennington Police Department is sponsoring, and we work with them on their program as well.
Correct. That is scheduled for the week of July 25th. The students, it'll mirror last year. The students, except they'll be here on Monday. There are approximately 30 students, middle grades involved, where they'll be here, spend the day with us. They'll rotate through 5 programs, spend about an hour at each, come back and do some additional work, probably with the Bennington Rescue Squad or the fire department. I don't have the schedule yet. We're actually meeting on June 28th to finalize our rotation plans for that day, but it'll be very close to what last year was. I mean, it was a resounding success for it. We will be providing transportation for the camp for the week, 2 buses, 2 drivers, and support staff to help staff that summer New Experiences camp, just like we did last year. It was very successful.
That's it?
That's all I have.
Okay. As for my report, I wanted to ask Ed if you could give us a rundown, Ed, on the negotiations with the ESP personnel. What's proceeding there?
We have a tentative agreement, and when I say tentative, I assume that it's being signed by the principals involved, to have a 1-year ESP contract, and we agreed to a 2% increase in salary. The rest of the items, and there's many of them, involving various work rules and the mechanisms that are involved, are going to be put off until sometime in August or September, and be picked up again for continuing negotiations on that.
So it sounds like we're close to closing that up down for another year's contract.
Yes, we've agreed on the monetary aspects and a 1-year contract. And part of this was due to the fact that the medical insurance costs are changing dramatically somewhere down the road, and we don't have the details on that, so you can't write a contract that says we'll pay this much and you'll pay that much until we know what those costs actually are.
Okay. Thank you. I did not attend the latest meeting with the Select Board, the Bennington Select Board. Did you attend that?
Yes, I
meeting?
did.
Can you give us a rundown on any items that would be of this board's concern?
It was general topics, Act 46, which is the school consolidation. There was some talk about that. Nothing specific to the Career Center. I did update the folks at the meeting about our summer projects, about our summer camp, our roofing project, which is getting started fairly soon here. The security upgrades here at this campus, both the Mount Anthony and the CDC campus, as well as the Mount Anthony Middle School. Those are projects that are all approved and scheduled underway to be done before school opens. And those were the general topics that we spoke about at the select board and school board meeting.
When we left the last meeting, we were discussing the roof.
Yes. And you gave us permission to go ahead and meet with the Buildings and Ground Administrator and address any concerns we had with him. And we did that, and we had a good presentation. He had a good recommendation as to the company that we should work with, and he was comfortable with, so we went ahead and
So
made
we're
that.
all squared away.
We're all squared away with both the roof and the security work to be done at the office area. Yep. Thanks for bringing that up. I had forgotten about that, too.
They actually started today, not the roof today, but the security contractors were on site today, starting their final layout to get started. So that is planned to all be in place by the start of school, which will be a little bit of a change for all of us, but we'll get used to it just like everyone else does. It really is going to change the flow of traffic on campus, and it'll be a change for all of us. And I say give it a week, and we'll all be used to it, and it'll be fine. So.
Okay, I just want to remind the board members there is no meeting scheduled for next month, July, so we won't be back to the table again until August unless something comes up that, and we'll notify you if that's the case, and hope that you enjoy the summer off until we meet the third Monday of August. Okay.
Could you give me just a little bit of information on that daycare that you sponsor here, how that works?
Sure. The daycare, we leased the space to essentially a private organization, Pam Upright from Growing Upright.
Oh, we don't run it.
No, at one point the CDC did run that as part of the Human Services Lab. I can't tell you the exact number of years. It's probably been at least 10 that Growing Upright's been down there. It could be a little bit more than that. She pays an annual lease fee, and it's our on-site lab essentially for Human Services. It is run by Pam Upright and her staff, and she has students in there from the community and from folks that work here, but it is run by an independent contractor essentially.
Thank you.
Is there any other business? We do have contracts that we're going to quickly review, 5 of them in executive. Only three in executive session and approve, so.
I'd like to make a motion, we go into executive session.
Second. All those in favor? We'll go next door then.
We'll bring Heidi with us.
Okay, good.
Heidi, we're gonna bring.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous? Okay, we have decided on the business manager's contract, and I'm looking for a motion to approve that contract as presented.
So moved. Second.
All right, moved by Francis, seconded by Ricky. Any further discussion on that? That contract is going from .6 to .10 with the terms upon an agreement. All those in favor of that, please signify by raising your hand. Heidi, are you still with us?
Yep, I
Aye. Okay, good.
raised my hand.
Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you, Heidi. Is there any other business before the board this evening?
We're gonna.
We are going to. We have 2 other contracts. We have the system administrator's contract, and we have the business administrator's contract. Is that the right term?
Assistant to the business manager and the
Assistant to-
IT.
And the IT support personnel's contract.
I'll make the move that we accept their contract.
Second.
Right, moved and seconded by Francis, moved by Ricky, seconded by Francis. Any discussion on that? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hands.
Raising my hand.
All right, Heidi, thank you. Unanimous. Any other business?
She's ahead of us. Move we adjourn.
Move to adjourn, seconded by Ricky. All those in favor?
Raising my hand.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming
night,
out
Heidi.
this evening.
Good night.
Good night, Heidi.
Night.
Okay.